Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric, and today I will be reviewing all of the rides at Universal's Islands of Adventure in Orlando. I did the same video about a year ago for Studios, and someone suggested I do this one, so I will be doing that now. Before I begin though, I should mention the rules. A 1 to 10 scale will be used here, where 1 is the worst ride at Universal and 10 is one of the best rides at Universal. I should note that since I much prefer big thrilling coasters to well-themed dark rides, big roller coasters will probably rank higher here, and this is based on a universal scale, so the ranking would be different for Cedar Point. A 10 here is one of the best at Universal, not one of the best in the world. So let's begin. Starting off on a very good note is The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, one of my favorite rides in the world, as far as dark rides go. It is incredibly well themed, really fun. The 3D is actually used incredibly well, and the ride feels very interactive. It's an incredibly enjoyable ride. The technology is really good despite it being kind of old compared to some of the other rides in the park. I enjoy this one a lot. It's definitely one of the first I go on whenever I go to Islands of Adventure. 10 out of 10. Continuing in the streak of very good rides, Incredible Hulk Coaster. Easily my favorite Universal ride out of either park. I like roller coasters, and this one is incredibly thrilling and has a great layout. The launch out of the tunnel is really powerful in my opinion. The inversions are really strong. The theming, location, music, all really good. It's just an incredibly enjoyable ride, and a really great roller coaster. 10 out of 10. Now, Storm Force Acceleration is the one Marvel ride in the park that isn't really anything special. It's still a fun ride, but it's a pretty typical one. It's just kind of a teacup ride. Fun, sure, I enjoy it, but there's nothing all that special about it. 6 out of 10. Now, Dr. Doom's Fearfall, a fantastic ride. It's a launch drop tower, sort of, takes you really high up, drops you down. It's a very good one. It's not the greatest drop tower in the world, but very fun, and the station theming's pretty good. 8 out of 10. Next up is a water ride, Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rat Barges. One of 3 water rides in the park. This one is absolutely fantastic, with great theming, really fun experience, a lot of little details. I didn't know a whole lot about Popeye before this, but I thought it was a really fun ride, and definitely one of the best River Rapids rides you'll ever see. 8 out of 10. Now for an even better one, Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. This is an absolutely fantastic ride. The best water ride I've ever been on, in fact. The theming is great, the ride is long and gives you plenty of time to enjoy. It's really fun and enjoyable. Pretty thrilling, honestly. It's just amazing. I really hope there are more water rides like this out there, because I'd love to be on those. 9 out of 10. Now for the final water ride in the park, Jurassic Park River Adventure. I don't think this is as good as the others, honestly. I just don't like the kind that starts out really slowly and then has one good final drop as much as, like, Dudley Do-Right or Popeye. The theming is still pretty impressive, and the final drop of the T-Rex is very, very fun. It's still a very good ride, but just not one of my favorites. 7 out of 10. On to the other Jurassic Park ride, Pteranodon Flyers. It's just a simple ride where you sit in the car and go over this sort of kids area. You can see some cool stuff around, but there's not a whole lot to it. Fun enough, but really nothing great about this one at all. Storm Force is honestly a lot more fun. 5 out of 10. Moving on to Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is widely considered one of the best theme park rides in the world. And I could not agree, honestly. When I wrote it, I was really impressed with the practical effects, and thought it was a really cool ride. The way the cars move is really awesome. The theming is amazing. The screen parts are not, in my opinion. They aren't that interactive or fun, and it's just not as enjoyable as something like Simpsons Ride, in my opinion. It's still an excellent ride, but honestly not one of my favorites. I know a lot of you will disagree with me on this one, but it's still worth the ride. Granted, I've not been on it since actually reading the Harry Potter books, so maybe it's because I don't know the story as well. And the theming is very good. It is a really good ride, but I just don't have enough information on the actual source material before riding it, and it wasn't quite thrilling enough to get a 9 or 10 out of 10. So for now, it gets an 8. On to Flight of the Hippogriff, a small kiddie coaster with the Hogwarts castle near it. It's a pretty fun ride. I got thrown around a little bit, but it's still a good roller coaster. It's still small and nothing amazing, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Now for the first ride on this list I have not been on, Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure. I have not been on this yet, but I am almost positive it will get a 10 out of 10. It has some thrilling elements, it's a roller coaster, has a good layout, and from what I understand, it is one of the best theme rides in the world. And it was the most expensive roller coaster to make. And it looks fantastic. I heard about this after I read the books, so I knew it pretty well at this point, and it just looks like an incredibly impressive ride. Forbidden Journey's really cool, but I think I'd like this one a lot better. So while it's not definite, I'm pretty sure this one earns a 10 out of 10. Now for the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley. There's a narrator, and they give you some wacky adventure, and you just kind of go around the Dr. Seuss area. You can see Hulk and the rest of the park, that's pretty cool. It's fun enough, but there's really nothing that impressive about it. 5 out of 10. Now for the Carousel. It's all in the name on this one. You get what you get with this one. It's a carousel with Dr. Seuss stuff. Nothing all that interesting. Fun kitty carousel, nothing more than that. 5 out of 10. Next up is the Cat in the Hat. The other Seuss rides are okay. This one I actually really don't like. It's a dark ride, it takes you around. Some people really like it, but I thought the animatronics were terrifying. The Cat in the Hat's eyes are like white, and there's no pupils, so it's really scary. The theming is kind of bland. It feels a lot more like a D-tier Disney dark ride. It's not like terrible, but there just isn't anything really that great about it, and then it has the pretty bad animatronics that make it a little worse. 4 out of 10. Now, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. I would have put this one at a 5 out of 10, but because Kang and Kodos Swirl and Twirl is over at Universal Studios, and actually has a little fun narration aspect to it, and this doesn't add anything, it's just really another Dumbo ride without any really interesting charm to it. So I'm gonna have to give this one a 4 out of 10. And I have saved the worst for last. Skull Island Reign of Kong. I do not like this ride, honestly. It's the same model as Fast and the Furious Supercharged, which I absolutely hate. This one is not as bad. There's some good stuff to it. I like the station theming, it's pretty impressive, and the giant Kong head at the end is really cool, but other than that, you just kind of sit in front of a screen and watch everything play out. The weird creature designs are really lame, and it's very rare you see an amusement ride that has plot holes, but this one does. So it's kind of frustrating there. It's not all that exciting. You can tell you're not moving. And King Kong beating up dinosaurs is kind of cool, I guess. There's some fun stuff, but it's not worth a long wait. If it's a walk-on, do it, but other than that, I don't really recommend you ride this. 3 out of 10. And I know I said that was last, but I did want to mention VelociCoaster. This is not open yet, but because it looks like a giant thrilling launch coaster with great theming, I don't see how this could not be a 10 out of 10. I'm so glad Islands of Adventure is adding more roller coasters after Dragon Challenge closed, and this one looks to be possibly even better than Hulk. 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this ranking. Do note I could have included the Hogwarts Express ride, but it's more of just kind of a transportation from one park to another. It's fun, but not really something I'm gonna rank. I hope you enjoyed this video, like it if you did, subscribe if you enjoyed, and to support the channel. We're getting somewhat close to 300 subscribers, and I'm really happy that this channel's been growing so much. I'll see you next time.